Hey y'all, what's up? Coach Paul here. God has qualified me. This is Move Mondays, and you have greatness in you. Now, before we get to talking about that greatness, y'all know I got to do it. If you don't move, that person, those people, those places, those things, those thoughts, those ideas, or those ways, Coach Paul promises you this. They are definitely going to move you, and you don't want to move where they're going to move you to. All right. Let's get into what we're going to be talking about today. Before that, y'all know I got to take me a drink of this water. That's good. Um, I had another nugget that I wanted to drop, but this one right here is ringing real loud in my spirit, so I need to make sure that I let it go. And here's the nugget for the week, y'all. Stop asking for permission to follow your dreams from somebody who's sleeping. All right, let's get going. What I want to talk about today, every last one of us, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, this has been or is actively a part of our lives. And in order for us to, we talk about we have this greatness in us, right? We talk about we want to move into this greatness. But this one thing that I want to talk about today is the thing that if we don't get this, right, watch this, if we don't get this thing locked down, we are going to continue to postpone or waste time in the development and the furtherance of our greatness. And that is, we have to get to a place in our lives where unhealthy practices, we cutting that out. I'm gonna say that again. We have to get to a place in our lives where unhealthy practices and activities, we got to cut that out. And the reason why I say that is because one of the things from my own experiences that I've learned about the unhealthy activities and or practices, it's an automatic setback, right? It pushes me back. And more often than not, as time goes on, it gets more painful and excruciating and challenging just to get back to that place where I fell off from because of the unhealthy practices or the unhealthy activity. And the reality behind all of that is that when that goes on, we really wasting time. So again, the unhealthy practices that we indulge in, right? Not only that it sets us back, we have to go through unnecessary pain and turmoil and anguish in a lot of cases just to get back to where we fell off from. And again, that time, all of that time to do all of that is time wasted from us developing, right? And leveling up the greatness that God has put inside of each and every one of us. Let me give you some examples of my own life. I want to personalize this, and I want you to think about some of the things in your life that you have allowed some unhealthy practices or activities to interfere with. So many of you all, if not all y'all who know me, you know that I'm a person who's in long-term recovery from the horrors. Let me say it like it go. From the horrors of addiction and trauma. Thank God I'm 11 years and 4 months in now. After suffering for 30 years, thank God for that. But I remember when I first came to the knowledge that about drugs and addiction and how that thing went together in my life. I remember coming to that knowledge. excuse me, it was back in 2002. And at that time, now let me say this, before 2002, there had been times in my life where I wanted to stop using because it was something that was always in me that was saying, this is not you. It had, let me make it plain to many of you all out there listening to me. It was a long period in my life, well before 2002, where it just wasn't fun anymore. All right, the fun was gone. Now, so fast forward, we in 2002. I'm trying to do the work, because again, I got this knowledge now, and I want to be able to do the work that is needed so that I can start this life that I know God has called me to. So I started doing it. I started out the gate. I was doing pretty good, right? Doors was opening, scholarships was happening, jobs was coming, blessing. I mean, the favor of God was all over the place. And I remember that in that season, I had some criminal cases going on. I'm talking about how much favor and blessings was going on in my life at that time. I had a bunch of cases that was pending where if I had got convicted, well, they was trying to send me back to prison for the 5th time. And they had a legitimate reason. Trust me, they had a legitimate reason. I had 9 cases that I was facing in 3 different counties. That's how terrible it was for me. But anyway, again, I was being blessed and the favor was happening. I didn't go to, the cases got settled. I didn't go to prison. Again, doors started opening, so forth and so on. And I had gotten introduced to the recovery world, right? And I started being a part of the recovery world in the community and things of that nature. However, I allowed myself to start to have conversations with some unhealthy practices. First, I'm having the conversations with them. Hey, you can go over there, let them see how you're doing or see how they doing. And I remember somebody saying, if the people that you were with don't see you, they know how you're doing. Okay, but watch this. I was in a state of mind at that time where that don't apply to me. I can go over here and see how these people doing. And I ended up going over there, and they say that if you go to the barber shop enough times, you'll end up getting a haircut. And because I started going over there as an unhealthy practice, I ended up starting to get high again. And it set me back. It set me back. I stopped the recovery world. I didn't follow through with the scholarship. I quit the job. I stopped going to church. I even stopped going to see my probation agent. All hell broke loose in my life because of first, again, I started having conversations with the unhealthy stuff. Then I started to act out on the unhealthy conversations I was having with the unhealthy stuff. And it brought me to a place where it set me back. Now, in this setback, not only that I don't have anything, I have a drug habit now. What do I mean by that? Well, with heroin, it's a physical addiction, and I snorted heroin. So by the time in that setback, I had become physically dependent upon the heroin again. So if I didn't have heroin, I got what they call sick. And trust me, the pain is excruciating. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And let me stop saying that because my only enemy is the devil. Anyway, whatever. So I got all of this stuff going on inside of that comes along with the setback. Oh my God. I just said something that I needed to hear. There's stuff that's going to come along with the setback. And promise you this, you don't want it. Now, in this setback, now I'm in a place where my wife at the time was saying, I can't take no more. And she left me. I got put out, had nowhere to go, was homeless, was eating out of garbage cans, was sleeping in abandoned buildings, was living in abandoned cars, you name it. And this is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but we get brutal winters with a whole lot of snow. And it was winter when all of this stuff took place. I'm talking about the setback. I'm talking about the excruciating pain that you're going to go through. I experienced myself when we start to do unhealthy practices. So that right there within itself, y'all, I'm telling you how harmful and painful that thing was. And then it got lonely because again, everybody started to leave. I started to lose people that loved me to because I had chosen to go back to that life. They didn't die. They just said I can't do no more. Right. So anyway, when I got to a place where it was where I was trying to make it back just to where I had left off at, it was a whole lot more. It was harder for me to get to get back to where I had fallen from. It was harder for me to get there. And again, this thing continue. I'd get back to where I fell off from, go back, and I'll go further back. And the same thing, so forth and so on. This went on from 2002 to 2015. That's when 2015 was the last time. I haven't had those setbacks in my life ever since then. And I'm grateful and thankful that I get the opportunity to share this with you all through this platform of Move Mondays. Because now at the same time, I want you to think about some of the times in your life that you were doing something and it was going well. It was a part of who you are. It was what you were supposed to be doing. It was, it was favor was on it. Grace was on it. All of these things was happening for you. And you decided, to do something unhealthy, have a conversation with this unhealthy stuff and give into it. Even when let me say it like this. Even when it comes to our bodies and our fitness, we call these things cheat days, right? We have these cheat days, and sometimes those cheat days end up being cheat weeks, cheat months, and cheat years. I'm coming back from that myself right now, from a situation where I was getting my health in order and things of that nature, losing the weight that I needed to lose. Because one of the things that my God, and forget this high power stuff, that God had told me, he said, what I'm calling you to do, the way you are doing your body in terms of the unhealthiness, it's not sustainable. You got to get healthy in order to complete the mission that I'm calling you to, because what I'm calling you to, you need a body and not just anybody. You need a healthy body. So starting that process, did me a cheat day, and all hell broke loose. The cheat day turned into a cheat week, into a cheat month. Now I'm on my way back again. I got to a place where I don't even go to the store and buy fried chicken no more. I just don't. I haven't had fried chicken in almost 3 weeks and counting. That's one of the, I had to cut it out because again, I didn't have a healthy relationship with it, and it sets me back to a place that I realized by the time I go back to the gym, it's harder and harder to do the workouts that I do, that under normal circumstances, these be the things that I could do with my eyes closed. These things, the workouts that I do, I could do them easily. I've had people watch me in the gym and admire the workout, ask me questions about the workout, because this is something that I do on a normal basis when I'm working healthy, when I'm having conversations with healthy, not unhealthy, right? And like I said, took a long time. It got harder and harder to come back from that thing each time that I go back. And I'm just at a place in a position in my life where I'm back at the gym now, and I'm saying, like, listen, I don't even want to have to go through this no more. It's too much wear and tear on my body that's unnecessary and a waste of time. Now, this can relate to relationships. We can apply this to relationships, our relationship with God, our relationships with our significant others, our relationships with our extended family members, our kids or whatever, even some of our friends, right? If you're doing some unhealthy practices in those relationships, the setback, first of all, is painful. The comeback is painful. And now we have positioned ourselves where when people start to allow us back in our lives, there's still some apprehensiveness on their behalf. hold on, let me have this wall up a little bit against you because I don't know. When the reality of it is, on our side, we really want this relationship to work. And we have to go through the unnecessary pain of working our way back in and having, and dealing with the distrust that they have from against us because of what our track record has been showing all along. He'll do right or she'll do right, certain time, bam, fall off. And here we are again back in this hellhole with our relationship. Like I said, this can be with your significant other, your kids, your mother, your extended family, your friends, your job. Some people have to be on probation from their jobs, from their careers. Why? Because some unhealthy practice had put them in a place where it was a huge setback and they almost lost their career. But thank God that they didn't lose it. But now they got to go through all this unnecessary pain and time wasted just to work themselves back to a place where the job can say, I trust you again. All of that time is wasted and unnecessary. If we don't get into the unhealthy practices, if we don't get into the unhealthy activities, we won't have to worry about the comeback. We'll continue to be moving forward. Financial too. I remember many times when I was selling drugs and being around a lot of the drug dealers. It was so-called days where we made a whole lot of money. And because we made a whole lot of money, we decided, okay, this is the day I'm gonna splurge. I'm gonna go to the ball, I'm gonna go to the club. Now let me tell y'all something about Coach Paul. I ain't making it rain on nobody. My name ain't God. God makes it rain. Listen, no, I ain't. Okay, let me leave that alone. There you go. Now, go to the club, do all of this, waste all of this money. Then the next morning when we get up and look at our bankrolls, it's like, wow, I overspent. Now I gotta work harder in selling these drugs just to get back to that place where I have enough money to be able to go and what we used to call recop or re-up. Man, the list goes on and on. The list goes on and on. Now, again, what the whole title and subject of this particular episode of Move Mondays is, like I said at the beginning, we have to stop indulging in unhealthy practices or unhealthy activities because the excruciatingly painful process that we have to go through just to get back is unnecessary and a waste of your and my valuable time. Somebody out there need you to continue to do what you're supposed to be doing rather than that thing that you want to do. Because the thing that we want to do and we do it, that's the thing that hurts us more than anything or anybody. So people out there in Move Mondays world, I hope you got the point. I hope you comment. I hope you share. I hope you like. I hope we can have some conversations around this because this is a reality that's going on. It's been happening in my life, and I watch it going on in the communities and in situations around where I am. Now let me say this. I don't want you to think that everybody that Coach Paul hangs around is dysfunctional. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all because I got a lot of people in my life that's doing what they said they was gonna do, right? 100%, a lot of people in my life. And I'm working hard to mimic myself behind some of those examples because their greatness is continuing to grow. Watch this. And I ain't talking about grow just for them. It's continuing to grow that it's bearing fruit to God. That it's bearing fruit to God. So I want y'all to know that. But I do know and have some people, again, I'm one of them. I'm one of them. However, I'm doing what I need to do to make this thing the way that it's supposed to be made. So y'all, let's have some conversations around this. Thank y'all so much for tuning in with me. We got some more awesome stuff coming up next week and the next months. We're gonna start having some special guests. on these episodes and have some conversations around a lot of the subject matter that Move Mondays is going to be about. Because again, this thing is bigger than us. This thing is bigger than Coach Paul. This thing is designed where people can get free, people can get healed, and most importantly, people can get closer to God. With that being said, Coach Paul loves every last one of y'all, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Until we meet again, please be well, do the next right thing. God bless every last one of y'all. And if you're looking for a butt, it's going to always be easy to find one. I'll see y'all next time. Deuces.